Hi, Daff.
Hello, Mother.
Back so soon.
Back so soon.
Look at us.
We're doing it.
Yep. Let's hope we keep doing it. I was going to say, let's don't get used to it, but I don't want to project that.
I don't want to project that either. Let's just do it. Let's just enjoy ourselves. Let's just have fun. Let's just ride the roller coaster, you know?
Fuck, it's a roller coaster.
It is. It's totally a roller coaster, but let's just ride it. Let's just enjoy it.
It's like a roller coaster that drops you in water, except for it's fire.
Is it like the slip and slide to hell? Is it like that?
Sometimes it is.
It is sometimes like the slip and slide to hell.
Yeah.
Like the one we recorded. And my mom decided to burn up some sage and set my throat on fire.
Yeah.
Yep. That's not protecting us from hell, I tell you that.
No. No.
Okay, you ready for my disturbing fact?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever heard of bat bombs?
What?
Bat bombs.
Different than bath bombs, I'm guessing?
Different than bath bombs. Yeah, that's added an H to the end of the bat.
Okay.
That's plus an H.
So that's no.
Yeah, bat bombs.
That's a big no.
Okay. They were an experimental World War II weapon that was developed by the U.S., of course. It's like, let's harm animals. It's a good idea.
Fuck.
So the idea was to attach small incendiary bombs to hibernating bats and then drop them over enemy territories.
Fuck, that's not cool.
The bats would wake up, fly off, and would then, find their ways into buildings because that's what they do. Bats have to have, like a space around them when they go to hibernate, when they go to lay upside down for given hours of time.
For given hours.
And they would ignite bombs and then they would light on fire.
That's fucked up.
Catch the places on fire that they would deploy into.
That's fucked up. I bet those bats did not even get the option to sign a waiver or anything.
Yeah, they're like, death is guaranteed.
Right?
Death may or may not occur. This is your chances. Da-da-da-da-da. Please contact a doctor if you experience any of these symptoms. Nope. The bats didn't have that option.
That's fucked up.
They probably weren't entitled to any compensation either.
I'm guessing their families weren't either.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
So, yeah, how it was supposed to work was that bats would be captured and then in their sleep-like state, their hibernation, packed into bomb-shaped containers, delivered. They would wake up, fly away, and then the bombs would have a timer when they were meant to go off. Given when are the bats going to take flight, how long is it going to take them to find a home, find a place to chill out, and then the bombs would just go off. But luckily it failed.
Good.
Because the bats weren't they weren't behaving as intended.
They couldn't get the bats to participate in their evil plan.
Nope. Yeah, they couldn't control their flight paths. And then they were setting off accidental fires, which included burning down and blah, 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 blah. Sorry, English is hard today again. Usual. Burned down one U.S. military base. in their attempts at making it work.
Wow, that's
And it was canceled. The entire project was canceled due to logistical and practical problems, obviously, because bats are not a reliable weapon. Thank goodness, because then the bats would die and it would be so sad.
That would be so sad. That's awful. I'm glad it didn't work out. I'm
Yeah.
sure there were several bats injured in the process of figuring out, well, not injured, but that died, trying to figure out that it wasn't going to be a thing, but at least it wasn't a big thing where lots of bat lives were lost for bombings.
Yeah, and the idea was to drop them into Japan, which they ended up just nuking them anyway.
Right.
So fucked up.
Yeah. Yay, war.
Love the United States. Yay.
Yay, war.
But yeah, that's all. That's bat bombs.
Okay.
Really disturbing.
And different than bath bombs.
Different than bath bombs. They are bat bombs.
Yeah.
I love bats. I think bats are so cute. I don't
Bats
understand why they
cute.
freak people out.
Bats are cute, and they eat insects, and
They put their hands, like monkeys do. They put their hands together when they're eating into their mouths, and they just look cute and innocent.
cute.
Or like rodents do, but I don't like rodents, so we don't talk about it's cute when rodents eat because rodents all should just die.
Alrighty then.
That's my 2 cents on rodents.
Yeah. In case anybody was wondering.
I hate them.
I hate flies.
We know.
Everybody else knows you hate rodents. Any hoodles.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I don't like it.
Yeah, me neither.
Hence the disturbing part. But
Yeah, that's why I used it. I found out about it and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I need to do this.
anything animal cruelty, I hate.
Well, yeah, duh. But it's interesting and it's funny that they were like, oh, these bats will for sure do exactly what we want them to do.
Right. I bet we can get these bats to cooperate.
I bet we can get these bats to cooperate and I bet they'll fly exactly into the cities that we want them to fly into and the bombs will go off and then we'll burn down the whole city like we planned to. Oh no, we burned down our own base. We should probably cancel this project.
That is awesome. At least that happened.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Hopefully no one was hurt though.
Hopefully. Well,
Except for the
hopefully.
bats. I mean, but the bats are included in our casualties. So
Yeah, unfortunately.
poor bats.
Poor bats.
All right, that's it. I don't want to keep talking about sad bat deaths.
Okay.
I just want to talk about cute bats.
I can second the no more bat death chat.
Okay, cool. What do you got for me today?
Okay. This case is, I hope I do it justice. I hope I present it properly. I hope that all the information that I have
This
found.
case is, I hope. This is a case of hope.
Yes. No, it's not actually. But okay, the Texas killing fields. I don't know if you've heard of the Texas killing fields.
I haven't. I literally asked you yesterday when I was creating the file because we were supposed to double record and then we didn't double record because you hotboxed us with Sage, literal Snoop Dogg concert. I'm pretty sure my eyes are still bleeding.
Mine are definitely.
Anyway, I was like, what do you want to title this? And you're like, I was like, the episode's not going out yet. I was like, I just need something to title the audio file. And you're like, oh yeah, the 11. I was like, okay, so we've already talked about MK Ultra though, and that's kind of Stranger Things-ish. So you need to tell me about this 11 because it's a different 11, I'm sure, than what I'm thinking of.
It's a very different 11. Okay, so the Texas killing fields is an area of land that, okay. how am I
Fields in Texas that people were killed in?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So in the 1970s, bodies started turning up in the area just off Interstate 45 between Houston and Galveston. And Galveston's an island. So I didn't know if you knew that. Galveston Island.
I've been to Galveston before, yes.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. So the bodies turned up in this area near League City, which is mostly swampland with like refineries on both sides of the interstate. And while it's not necessarily remote, it's completely and totally undeveloped. And it's a place where no one would be able to hear you if you screamed for help or if you ran, you would really have nowhere to fucking go.
Still to this day?
Still to this day. So you wouldn't have anywhere to go. And this area became known as the killing fields because more and more bodies kept and keep being discovered. And as of my looking up stuff, and I think my stuff is what I was looking up isn't completely and totally current, and I can look a little bit more, but as of my stuff that I was looking at, because mine is pertaining to something different, it's the same. I'm getting there. Daphne's like, what the fuck, Mom? Okay. So as
she's trying to describe it, like when she's talking to me about it, she's like, have you ever? No, I don't know. Anyway, so like it's like a Russian stacking doll, but like nothing like a Russian stacking doll because it's like we're talking like 6 Russian stacking dolls and like we're talking the innermost layer of the 5th one, but I'm really talking about the 2nd one.
That's exactly how that went.
Basically, I was like, oh, so you're kind of talking like Sharon Tate, like, and the Abigail Folger being killed by Charles Manson, but they made it look like something else. And it was like a bigger case within,
with that
one case. And you're like, yeah, kind of, but like not really at all. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay. There have been as many as, and probably more now, 34 bodies found in a 25-acre area. So that's not a very big area.
No.
And all of the bodies that have been found are of women and girls between the ages of 12 and 25.
They're all women?
All women between the ages of 12 and 25.
Okay.
So
no men?
No men, all women.
Okay.
So what I'm focusing on is this unsolved case that's
great. No closure.
No closure.
Whoop-de-doo. My mom is so awesome like that. She gets mad at me for doing things that scare the shit out of her. And here I am getting irritated because we don't have closure
We're
now.
not going to have closure.
Yay.
And it's going to be a 2-parter because it's really fucked up.
Cool.
Okay.
I love really fucked up 2-parters.
Right?
Really fucked up 2-parters are my favorite.
So I'm focusing again, because you didn't even make it to the end of it, the unsolved case that's become known as the 11. So these specifically are 11 girls that they think were all tied to one serial killer, but maybe not. So these 11 girls, I'll get there, but I'm not going to get
Please.
there until the second part.
Oh, okay, cool. Suspense.
Yeah, suspense. You'll have to tune in later. To be continued.
TBD.
So,
Oh, wait, no.
not TBD.
But well, maybe TBD one day.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Do you have theories? Okay, so you better fucking continue some research and find some theories.
Oh, dude, I do. But it's like, that's why it has to be a two-parter.
Okay.
Anyway, okay. So I'm going to
Yes, please, dive.
I'm going to present these victims in chronological order to the best of my ability based on the knowledge and research that is available. Because the whole thing is encompassed in the Texas killing fields, when you're researching it, they're putting other victims in because it's based on like the dates that they've been found. So,
Okay.
so then you have to pick out the 11 that are considered the 11 of this case. And of course, the fucking internet, it gives you different information in different places.
Okay.
So like
Right.
one place was like this and this. And I was like, wait, that wasn't on this one. And so then I had to just like, to the best of my ability, I have really fucking worked on this to try to make sure that I'm giving the most accurate information.
Yeah.
As I always do.
Yeah, if you even know what you're talking about.
But
I'm
it's
ready.
also the 70s and it's unsolved. And so there's also all of that shit too.
Question. Did you also find that the Texas Gov website is pretty fucking legit and pretty awesome?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know why. When I was working on Samuel Little,
Mm-hmm.
whatever was happening with him in Texas was like super up to date, super informative, like best research I could find for him.
Right. And I don't know, a lot of times when I'm researching, obviously I did go to texas.gov, but that's going to be more on the second part of this.
Okay.
But also like I look at, I can't even tell you because then that's going to give away something else later on.
Okay, just go.
I'm going. So victim number 1, her name was Colette Anise Wilson, and she's the first known victim of these 11. Colette was dropped off by her band director at the intersection of County Road 99 and Highway 6 in Alvin, Texas on June 17th, 1971. And just 5 minutes after being dropped off, her mother went to that intersection to pick her up. And in just 5 minutes, she was already gone. She'd already been taken.
Damn, she got snatched in 5 minutes.
Yep, or less. Her mother went to a nearby friend's house, and when she wasn't there, her mother immediately knew she was missing and reported her missing, and the police didn't take her seriously and just told her mother that she was probably taking drugs and she had just run away. And her family knew that wasn't true because her family just knew her. You know, they knew what kind of girl she was.
That they're like, oh, she's just a drug user. She's just a runaway. She's just a bad kid.
And especially in the 70s, I feel like in the 70s, because we're coming off of the 60s where everything's peace, love, and like there was a lot of that rebellion. So coming into the 70s, everybody's like, oh, well, if your kid's gone, they just ran away. They're on drugs. They just ran away.
How old was she?
12.
12?
She was 12 years old.
Did you already say that or did I miss that?
I think I might not. No, she was 13. Sorry.
She was 13?
I was
Okay, sorry, you were getting to that part.
Yeah, so she was just 13 years old.
Yikes.
But anyway, so police didn't take her seriously, and that, you know, it was left to her family to mostly be looking for her and try to find her. And her body wouldn't be found until 5 months later on November 26, 1971 by the Addicts Reservoir, or Addicts Reservoir, about 45 miles from where she was last seen. And as I said, she was just 13 years old.
That's so sad.
So the next one, and some of these I could find a lot on, and some of them I could find like nothing.
What condition do we know her body was found in? Do you know anything?
I'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, just wondering.
No, it's okay.
Wondering what the state or the condition in which these bodies are found in, you know?
Yeah. That particular one I'm going to get to later because there's
so
a
you
whole
have
other thing
information
about that one.
Okay, I'm just asking.
No.
Checking in. You're just giving a victim run through right now then.
I am. And
of what you know.
and everything that I can tell you about the victims, I'm going to tell you. And I do like everything I can because some of them have memorial Facebook pages. Some of them have like the information is attached to like Find a Grave where you can go from there. But like some of them, like you can't find anything. Not in Texas Gov, not in nothing.
That sucks.
It does really, really suck.
Like they're just a ghost.
Yeah. Like it's like almost like they didn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
So victim number 2, Brenda K. Jones. She was just 14 years old when she was last seen walking to Galveston Hospital on her way to visit her aunt on July 1st, 1971. Her body was found the following day on July 2nd, floating in Galveston Bay near Pelican Island. She had been shot several times and her hands and feet had been bound.
So she was shot. Okay.
So she was shot. And it was unclear whether or not she'd been sexually assaulted.
Okay.
Okay. But she's also in the water.
Because she's,
And also,
saponification.
Yeah, and there's like not a lot of bruise, or there's no like bruising that would indicate. So on most of these victims, that's the case. It's like, but again, I'm getting there.
Okay.
So victims 3 and 4. So that is, what do we say? That was June 17th, and then we got July 1st.
But they didn't find Colette's body until November.
Right. But I mean, it's quick, right? It's 2 weeks. And then victims number 3 and 4 were taken on the afternoon of August 4th, 1971. Rhonda Renee Johnson was 14 and Sharon Lynn Shaw was 13. They had taken a day trip from their hometown of Webster, Texas, and they were last seen walking together on Seawall Boulevard in Galveston, heading to the Jericho Surf Shop in Galveston.
Okay.
So it sounds cool. So cool. Like the Seawall Boulevard. So it's like right on the coast. After the girls went missing, an investigation was immediately underway because Rhonda's grandfather was a prominent city council member.
Okay. So they have someone who's a public figure on here. And
he's like, you must find my granddaughter.
Right. So there's actually public outcry and there's people that are looking
for these girls.
Because someone who mattered is related to her. Right. Someone who matters.
So, yeah. But I mean, still
an important person.
Not a lot of information, not a lot of movements happening on this, right?
Right.
So on January 3rd, 1972, so 4 months later, 2 boys fishing in Clear Lake found what they thought was at first like a ball of some sort, and it ended up being a human skull. 6 weeks later, searchers located the rest of the body along with the body of another girl in the marsh near the lake, and the skull was identified by dental records as that of belonging to Sharon Lynn Shaw. In addition, there was a crucifix found wrapped around her jawbone that her mother identified as Sharon's. And obviously it wasn't wrapped around her jawbone when she died, but like the way her body was in this marsh and the way the decomposition happened, the crucifix just happened to stay with her remains. And that's how it ended up, which is kind of a sign, yeah?
Yeah.
So
I would say so.
I would say so too. Sharon's mother had identified the crucifix that Sharon wore.
That's so sad.
The other body was positively identified as Rhonda Renee Johnson.
At least they're found.
Yeah.
At least there's some kind of closure.
For sure. Sort of.
Well,
I mean, they're found, yeah.
You don't have to wonder anymore. Because that's, I think, one of the hard... I'm sorry, I was just going to say, I think that's one of the hardest things in some of these cases is like when the bodies are never even found.
Right. That's like awful.
Or... in my theory yesterday, do they become the black-eyed children? Right. Like, what happens?
Where did they go?
Yeah.
What happens? Yeah. In May of 1972, a new police chief, Don Morris, and a new assistant police chief, Tommy Deal, were elected into office. A few weeks later, on June 9th, so this also happens very quickly, Morris and Deal were interviewing a man named Michael Lloyd Self at his work at 5 a.m. about the murders of Sharon and Rhonda. Self agreed to be interviewed at the police station when he got off work at 7 a.m., and after 3 hours of interrogation, he signed a written confession to the murders.
Okay.
Self had multiple run-ins with Morris before and after Morris had become the chief of police.
Guessing it wasn't him.
Morris was a security guard at an apartment complex that Self lived in, and he had accused Self of looking up girls' dresses when they walked up the stairs. Morris had also accused Self of gas thefts from city fire trucks. Self was a volunteer firefighter and was often at the fire department, which was in the same building as the police department.
Okay.
Morris had threatened him with jail time if he didn't stop stealing gas. A week before Self was interviewed about the murders, Morris had questioned him about having pot and possession of marijuana.
It's like, you have weed on you.
So he's like,
you smoke the devil's lettuce.
So he's got it out for this guy, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like he's really coming after him. He's trying to pin anything and everything he can on this guy.
Yeah, and he was elected in May, and in June, they're like, oh, hey, we got a tip.
Yeah, hey, we've got our guy.
Right. So Self was taken to Houston to be held and then assigned an attorney, because Webster's like a small town, like about 1,500 people at this time. And so they don't have it's not a place to have a murder trial.
Okay.
Dewey Meadows was assigned to be Self's lawyer. Meadows promptly advised Self not to say another word to police, and Self told Meadows that he wanted to take a polygraph test to prove his innocence, even though he'd confessed, and Meadows advised against it. So Self was like, well, I did confess, but I'm really not guilty, and I want to take a polygraph to prove it. Self was then taken to a police department in LaPorte, Texas, where charges were filed, and photos of Self were taken, including nude photographs. He then directed police to an area where the bodies had been found. But mind you, it was public knowledge where the bodies were found.
Right,
because it was
published
in the paper.
articles about it.
Exactly. So this is 6 months later. Everybody knows where the bodies were found. It's public information. And Self denied any mistreatment by the police during interrogation.
Okay.
The next day, part of the interrogation of Self was taped, but not all of it was taped. And they
left out the confession.
He was then moved back to Houston, and on Monday, June 12th, he was questioned again by multiple law enforcement officers about the murders of other girls in the area, and he was given a polygraph. And after the polygraph, he signed a second confession, confessing to those same 2 murders.
I'm sorry, you can't see me rolling my eyes.
Yo, just wait. Prior to the trial in 1973, Self's attorney moved to suppress the confessions made on June 9th and June 12th. The state entered findings that both confessions were made voluntarily and they were admissible. But his attorney was suspected that there was coercion. That's why they had like the naked photos and stuff too, because he had injuries. And he's like, oh no, these aren't from the police. I had these already.
Right.
Self testified that the June 9th confession was coerced and that he would not have signed that one, and he wouldn't have signed the second one, but he'd already signed the first one, and he'd already been, beaten up and coerced, as they say.
It's led into a confession.
The jury was instructed that it could not consider the June 12th confession unless it found beyond a reasonable doubt that Self had been warned of his rights and had given the confession freely and, quote, without compulsion or persuasion.
Okay.
In May of 1973, Self was found guilty of murder and was sentenced to life in prison. 3 years after Self's conviction, Morris and Deal, so the chief of police and the assistant chief, were arrested and charged with bank robbery. They were part of a group of bank robbers who robbed banks from 1972 to 1976.
Good cops.
Yeah. So during that time, they arrested him in 72. Morris was sentenced to 35 years in prison and Deal was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Later, they were both paroled, but then Deal was arrested again for robbery. Self's lawyers petitioned for a new trial. Then on April 2nd, 1980, a man walked into a police station in Taylor Lake, Texas, and confessed to the murders of Sharon and Rhonda. The man had vague information about the murders, but did say that he used a cord to hold down the bodies, which was true, and it was never made public because the police were trying to, once they found who did it, trying to get the real confession or whoever did it would know that they were held down with cord.
Right. They have to leave some information that only the killer would be aware of.
Right. But I mean, even though they didn't use it with Self, but that's because they were trying to deflect.
Right.
Yeah,
but he would have only known that if he would have done it.
Exactly. So the man who was suffering from psychosis knew Rhonda and Sharon and had lived in the same apartment complex as one of the girls. Despite this man's confession and the criminal activity of Morris and Deal, Self's conviction was upheld. In 1992, Self was denied parole, and on March 30th, 1993, so we're 20 years in, and this guy is fucking innocent.
Right, and you've only gotten through 4 victims. So I'm going to guess it's not him. It's because he called it the 11.
Right. The U.S. Supreme Court refused to consider a new trial for Self, although it was most certain that someone else was responsible for the murders of Sharon and Rhonda. And by this time, authorities suspected a serial killer in the Galveston area was responsible. Because like I said, we're 20 years later now.
They're like, oh, sorry, it wasn't you.
but you're not fucking getting out.
But we're not letting you go.
Self died in prison in 2000 without ever being exonerated for the murders, even though it was widely believed that he was framed by 2 corrupt police officers who coerced him into confessing. And yeah, you think?
Yeah, these sound like dirty cops for sure, obviously, since they're bank robbers and went to prison.
Right. And obviously they were just trying to solve a big case to keep the heat off themselves. Because if these police officers are so great in solving this fucking murder case of this city councilman's granddaughter, then nobody's going to be looking at them to be bank robbers.
Well, they'll also win over the court of public opinion and just do better, be better things.
Right. Just keep them looking all clean and shiny, even though they were fucking pieces of shit.
No, they're crooks.
Yeah. Victim number 5, Gloria Ann Gonzalez, was 19 years old, and she was last seen on October 28th, 1971.
How old was she?
19. She was last seen near her apartment on Jacqueline Street, in Houston. She was a recent high school graduate. She was very beautiful and well-liked, and her remains were found on November 23rd, 1971, by a man searching for buried treasure near Addicks Reservoir. Her cause of death was strangulation by ligature with a 2-foot cotton cord that was attached to a 4-inch piece of wood. So like a garrote. After all the evidence was collected from the scene and back at the medical examiner's office, it was discovered that one of the teeth recovered at the scene was not Gloria's, which made it clear that investigators needed to be looking for another body in close proximity to Gloria's body.
Yeah.
3 days later, on November 26th, 1971, about 35 yards from where Gloria was found, Colette Wilson's remains were found.
Darn it.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they found Colette, so they found one of her teeth. Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So her skeleton...
They identified her through dental records, though, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Well, and other things. So her skeletal hands were still wearing the peace ring that she had been wearing the day she disappeared. So her family identified her by that, and then dental records.
Okay.
So it's sad. Based on her fractured skull, it was determined that she had died from blunt force trauma.
So, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, when they have self in here, these other killings or these other bodies are being found, though. They just are not connecting them all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct. Plus, they're happening in different towns, which not necessarily different jurisdictions, but in some cases, yeah.
Well, you said it's in 25 acres, so that crosses over multiple towns?
It crosses over multiple... like where the people are taken from. So the bodies might all be found in a certain area, but where they're taken from, that's what has jurisdiction over looking for these girls.
Okay.
So, because those are the ones that are holding the case. So like if I report you missing here and you're found in Texas or something, then Texas might not necessarily connect you back to here.
Okay.
Now they would because of, technology and like the databases that connect everything together. But not in the early 70s. There wasn't that.
Right. There was no Goog.
No Goog. And no, what is it? I don't know. I can't remember. I can't even think of what it's called. But like the database that gives all the information.
NamUs and CODIS and all those things.
Yeah. So, I said already that her fractured skull said that made it, they knew that blunt force trauma was the cause of her death. And there was
For Colette.
And there was so little, because Gloria had been strangled. Right. And she was found less than a month after she been taken.
Hold up. Okay, so we have 2 strangulations.
One shooting. And the other girls, I think they were blunt force trauma. So.
Sorry. I'm just trying to keep track because there's a lot of different MOs happening here too.
Yes, exactly. And so, yeah, I didn't I was going to, I think that's going to come later.
You're not just connecting this 11. This is legitimate thing that they know that all these people were killed by the same person. They think. They've theorized. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, that's the word.
Allegedly.
Yeah, except for probably not.
Okay.
There was so little of Colette left after all this time had passed since she was taken.
Right, June to November.
Yeah, and the area she's found in the reservoir.
Yeah.
That she was buried in an infant-sized casket.
Aww.
That's what's so sad. And here we go again with two victims.
Okay.
Victims 6 and 7, Debbie Catherine Ackerman and Marie Talbot Johnson, best friends. Both girls were 15 years old, and they were last seen on November 15th, 1971. The pair was attempting to hitchhike from Galveston, reportedly to Houston. Debbie was a native of Galveston, and Maria was new to Galveston, and the girls had just a lot in common, so they became like fast best friends. They both had a love of water skiing and surfing, and that's what really like bound them together. And you would never see one without the other. They were like always together.
They were attached at the hip.
Mm-hmm.
They were Velcro.
Velcro.
2 peas in a pod.
November 15th was a Monday and there was no school. So a lot of their friends were like meeting up to hang out, and they were supposed to meet up with their friends later, but then they never showed up. It was Maria's boyfriend's birthday was coming up. So they had been like shopping for her boyfriend. And then they were all going to like meet up at the beach or whatever later in the day. But then they never showed up, and friends thought it was weird because it wasn't like them to not show up. If they're like, hey, we're going to meet you guys at 7:30 or whatever, they'll be there around 7:30, 8 o'clock, you know?
It's not like me. If I say I'm going to show up and then I don't, it's like, oh, Daphne probably fell asleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Daphne probably left her phone on Do Not Disturb.
But we just have to look for Daphne in her room at her place and
find her right there.
Yeah, we don't report her missing. Hopefully never, ever that happens. Maria's mom ended up reporting both girls missing about 9 p.m. on November 15th. Maria was found on the afternoon of November 17th, 1971. She was found by a man fishing in a very untraveled canal that ran off Turner's Bayou in Texas City, about 14 miles from Galveston. The man made his way back to town and he called police, and then her body was recovered from the murky water, and it was immediately obvious that she had died from gunshot wounds to the neck and the back of the head. The next day...
How long till she was recovered?
2 days.
2 days. Okay, so she wasn't that decomposed.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So the next day, police went back to search for Debbie Ackerman since the two had been last seen together. Debbie Ackerman was found on the opposite side of the bridge from where Maria's body had been found, and Debbie had been shot in the chin and in the back. Both girls were naked from the waist down, and their hands and feet were bound. According to the autopsies, both girls had been shot while kneeling, and it was undetermined if they had been raped, as there were no clear signs of being raped. However, it was clear that both girls had had sex prior to being killed, so there was some sort of male DNA, but there was like no bruising or anything indicating that they were raped, but it doesn't mean they weren't raped.
Right.
And both girls had been shot with a .38 caliber gun. And I'm just speculating
right. Some
here.
people might not fight back and get bruises.
Right. I was going to say, and they're 15 and they're just two best friends. So like, what are the chances they both had sex that same day?
Right.
You know what I mean? They're going to the mall shopping for the boyfriend and just like hanging out. So I don't know. I feel like they probably were sexually assaulted. That's my feeling about it.
Oh, I'm sure. But that's my point. It's like not all, yes, rape is forceful, but not all rape is forceful enough that it's going to wind up in bruises, because some people might not physically fight it off.
Right. And maybe he's saying like, if you cooperate, I'm not going to kill you.
Right, exactly. Like people are not going to, not that it's consensual, but people are not going to fight it off.
Right.
Because, yeah, you're given incentives. You know, don't do
this and I'll let you go, or whatever.
Yeah, don't fight back. Don't fight back and I won't kill your friend. Like, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever the case may be. Yeah. Whatever's held over your head that makes you not fight back.
Right.
That wouldn't result in bruising.
And that's like the case with all of the victims, that there's not all of the Texas killing field victims, but all these 11.
Okay, so is all of the Texas killing fields, is it all this like marshy kind of swampy land?
Yeah, it's 25 acres, like I said, between refineries and between the highway. And
well, you didn't exactly say the conditions of the land until we talked about that, where they're being found.
Yeah, it's
so it is. It's all swamp land.
Yeah,
it's all water
and bayous and waters and water. And
are there gators or crocs in it?
Probably. I don't know. I didn't look into that.
Curious. Should I look really quickly?
Sure, pause it.
Yeah. Okay, we just looked. Yes, there are alligators there.
Well, not surprising.
Yeah, no, not surprising given the geography. But I just wanted to, I was wondering about it because when you're talking about like the so little of Colette's body that was found and all that, I'm like, I wonder if any part of her could have been consumed.
Right, or taken away.
Yeah. Well, that's, eaten.
Yes.
Consumed as in eaten.
Yes, I understood what you meant, but maybe not necessarily even consumed, but just taken away.
Right. Moved because of the conditions, because it's not still land.
On the 17th, after the girls were found, a woman came forward saying, so I don't know when she came forward, but it was after the two girls were found, the 17th and 18th of November. A woman came forward and said that she had seen girls fitting Debbie and Maria's descriptions, hitchhiking on Seawall Boulevard, and get into a pickup truck with a man. That same morning, around 11 a.m., 19-year-old Leslie White was picked up hitchhiking on Seawall Boulevard right on the coast. And she was picked up by a man in a green pickup truck. And she asked to be dropped off at 27th Street. And they passed her street. And she was like, hey, dude, you like passed my street. Can you like stop and let me out? And he wouldn't. He wasn't going to stop. He wasn't going to let her out. And he literally said to her, I'm going to take you to West Beach and I'm going to rape you. So she ended up jumping out of the truck at 30th Street. And two people saw her and they picked her up and they took her to the hospital. And also, luckily for her, she only sustained minor injuries, like some bumps and bruises and stuff.
Right. And she lived to tell.
And she lived, yeah. But, it has to be the same person. But I don't know if...
Well, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be the same person, though, right? Because you just said you don't know if all 11 of them are actually connected.
No, but what are the chances that the two, Debbie and Maria, end up being victims of somebody picking them up in a pickup truck in the same fucking place that somebody else tried to get somebody that morning in a pickup truck?
Right. And raping and
right.
There's also connection to the other girl that got shot.
Right. But I didn't know if...
To Brenda. Brenda was the one who got shot, right?
Brenda got shot and... Those two were shot. I also didn't know if the Leslie White was able to give any kind of a description because I couldn't find that either.
Okay.
So I'm like, really? But it's
the records
1971.
were probably flooded or burned,
or something. Something happened to them. Not digitized to be on the interwebs, that's for sure.
Yep.
Victim number 8, Kimberly Ray Pitchford, was missing on...
You can't English either?
No.
It's fine.
Kimberly...
We all can't English. You and I, all of us.
All of us. It's our first language. We don't have quite got it down.
It's not mine.
All right. I'm going to start over. Not over the whole thing, just on this.
Oh, okay. Thanks for clarifying.
Victim number 8.
So bat bombs.
Kimberly Ray Pitchford went missing on January 3rd, 1973. She was last seen at Dobby High School in Pasadena, Texas. It was the first day back from Christmas vacation, and Kim, as she was known, attended classes all day, and her last class was driver's ed, which ended at 6 p.m. Friends would describe Kimberly as well-liked and fun to be around. She was also kind, smart, caring, and beautiful. She was supposed to call her parents for a ride home, and when she didn't call her parents reached out to her friend Karen Fram, and Karen told her parents that she had loaned Kim money for lunch and that Kim was upset about her boyfriend being in jail. I'm like, oh my God, you're just a child and you have a boyfriend in jail. But
right. It's always the good girls like the bad boys.
Right. After that phone call, her parents reported her missing. 2 days later, on January 5th, she was found in Angleton, Texas, which is about 50 miles away from Pasadena. She was found in a drainage ditch by two boys. The boys had seen a coat hanging on the fence on Thursday, but hadn't thought too much about it. And then the next day, the coat was still there. So they investigated the area and they found her body. She was wearing a blue dress, but her watch and shoes were missing from her body. Autopsy results concluded that she died from strangulation with some kind of a rope. And there were no obvious signs of sexual assault, but she was only partially dressed. So I guess, again, draw your own conclusions. No, she was strangled. Didn't say anything about being bound. So that's the other thing, is some of these girls are bound and shot. Some of them are just bound and strangled. Some of them are just strangled. Some of them are hit in the head.
Right. So how are they actually drawing these conclusions to connect all of them?
Right. And
especially when they don't have all the remains of all of them, so they don't know if they were sexually assaulted or not.
Right. And I wanted to, I don't know, I'm just going to try to see if on the map, if they had a thing that shows where all the bodies were found. Because it seems like they're not all found in close proximity, but they have to be.
Well, it's a 25-acre radius, I guess, if you will.
Right. So how much? Pause it.
Okay, we're back. We're live again. We just looked it up. We have a map to post for when we make the Instagram. And to our surprise, 25 acres is only 0.03 miles.
But it's spread out in a big old triangle.
Yeah.
The 25 acres.
The 25 acres is a big area, but it's only 0.03 miles. It says 1 acre is 1/640th of a mile.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be way bigger. But
I thought it was going to be a 6,000 mile spread. No, I'm just kidding. I know it wasn't going to be that big. I know it wasn't going to be from here to the UK.
Right. I I thought it would be like at least 1.5 miles or 2 miles, but
Actually, I guess
was very
I don't know
wrong.
how long 6,000 miles is.
It's far. But yeah, but it's like a triangle area, so we'll post it. And then the bodies were found like in these towns that butt up against that 25-acre area.
Yeah.
Because it's off of I-45.
Specifically the killing fields, the area that's specifically labeled as the killing fields is that 0.03 mile area.
Yeah.
That's 25 acres.
Yeah, which is a lot of bodies to be found in a very concentrated area.
Yeah, but if you look at the map, it looks like it should be way bigger, but it's not.
Nope.
Sorry, I just opened up the map again so I could visualize it.
As we go.
Yeah. It just looks like it should be way freaking bigger, but it's not.
It is not.
Weird.
The next victims, also a pair of victims 9 and 10. Brooks Bracewell, who was only 12, and Georgia Caroline Gear, who was 14. The pair were best friends, and they often went to the U-Totem in Dixon, Texas, which was a short walk from their homes to get like a soda or a bag of chips or whatever.
So I'm sorry.
It's like U-Totem is like a convenience store.
Okay.
Like a come and go or
You said that the victims in that have all been found that we know of, all 34 of them or something like that, were between the ages of what, 12
and 25.
12 to 25.
Mm-hmm.
So are these all the younger victims, and that's maybe why they're tying them together?
I think that could be a possibility.
Because these are the youngest ones?
I think that could be a possibility.
But I mean, really, there only is a 13-year age gap. Okay, what'd you call that
At
store?
the U-Totem. So it's like
U-Totem?
a 7-Eleven or
Okay.
It's some kind of a convenience store. That was like close to their houses, so they just walk there and go get snacks and stuff. Just something to do.
I bought a lot of candy yesterday.
I know, me too, and I really want a Slurpee. But anyway, I'm going to get back to this.
Sorry.
Brooke was small at 85 pounds, and she had blonde hair with a shag haircut. Georgia was thin and tall, and at just 14 years old, she was already 5'8".
Okay.
So she was a tall girl, so maybe she looked like a little more grown up. Although this guy, if it's the same guy, is taking young girls. And
Right, so he
older
doesn't really
girls.
care.
Yeah, it seems like he
And
doesn't
older
really.
girls. How old was the oldest one?
19.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
if they're all connected, though, that's the big
also the
if.
thing, right? So
Because it sounds like, I don't know, in my gut instinct of what you're telling me, I could understand how some of them are connected to the others, but it doesn't sound like all. Like, granted, I don't know the last one yet. I also don't know how these two went out, but it doesn't sound like we have like a linear thing happening here.
no, it doesn't sound like the victimology is the same. The method of killing is not the same. Plus, the Texas killing fields is this huge fucking area.
Right.
When the girls didn't come home within a normal amount of time, they were missing. They were reported missing by their parents. Dickinson was not big enough to have its own police department, so the Galveston County Sheriff's Department sent a deputy out to the homes of the parents to take a report of the missing girls. And the deputy's findings, so it's just one deputy comes out, right, to take these reports of these missing girls.
Okay.
So the deputy's findings would be described in a paragraph stating that he believed and relayed to the families that Georgia had probably talked her younger friend Brooks into running away. Police, believing they were runaways, did not search for the girls at all, and the family was left to search for the girls on their own.
Sounds about right.
Right. And
They're just junkies. They're just
right.
peace and love
Georgia's
hippies,
bad
girl.
and talked Brooks into running away. So they had to search on their own, and they made homemade flyers labeled missing from home, and they put them up in local restaurants and stores. Neither girl had taken any extra clothes or money or left notes. Georgia was wearing an orange outfit, and Brooks was wearing plaid high-rise pants and a gold V-neck sweater. Brooks was believed to have less than $1 on her at the time. The same deputy didn't follow up again with the families until December 13th, more than 2 months after the girls went missing. He again interviewed Brooks's mother and again described her to her mother as her runaway daughter.
I would be so pissed.
Mm-hmm, me too.
I would be like, yeah, could you imagine
Yeah.
if someone looked at you and was like, yeah, Daphne just got into drugs and ran away?
Right.
You'd be like, no, I know my kid.
Right.
She actually just wants to be laying in her bed playing Animal Crossing.
Eating
like-
macaroni and cheese, watching Netflix.
From Noodles and Company specifically.
Planning her next pole class.
Yeah, planning her next pole class. She's writing out her schedule right now.
Yes, exactly. So a single line in the second report made by the same deputy shows that, so we have this same report, right? And he's saying to Brooks's mom that it's a runaway daughter. And then the report gets turned over to an investigator. And the investigator in this same report writes that he's requesting dental records for the girls in case they turn up dead, but that's it. There's nothing else done other than going out and talking to the moms twice, the parents twice, and then asking for dental records. And that's it. They didn't even not even look for them, not even for 1 second.
That's such BS.
It is such BS. So a quote from an article on Cron.com. Before Brooks disappeared, her huge barn-like home held a large blended family, her mother, stepfather, sister, stepsister, brother, and stepbrother. The siblings had formed a bond, but in their grief and anger, her mother and stepfather soon divorced. Brooks' older sister ran away. Her half-sister moved out with stepsister, but I'm reading directly quoting. The family Brooks had known fell apart. Brooks' stepbrother Gary had celebrated his 12th birthday the day before Brooks disappeared. He remembers the gift Brooks gave him as a moment of happiness in a turbulent childhood. For years after, he was left to wonder if he'd only dreamed that he lost his sister. He believed for years that Brooks had to be somewhere still alive. Today, he started a nonprofit to help abused and exploited children. He knows just how vulnerable missing Texas teens are to predators.
That's so sad.
So sad.
So they didn't find these girls for a long time then?
Not for a long time.
I love that name, Brooks. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Brooks for a girl. I love that.
In May of 1976, some bones were discovered in a culvert near Alvin, Texas. And if you recall, Alvin, Texas was...
Where someone else went missing.
Yeah, I think Colette. I could scroll back up there really quickly. I'm pretty sure that Colette was the one that went missing. Colette. I know, just
English.
search the word.
Command F.
Command F. Colette was the one that went missing from Alvin, Texas. Same area. This body's also. I'm getting there. Okay. Alvin is 10 miles west of Dickinson, and it's not in Galveston County. It is in Brazoria County. So it wasn't even considered by Galveston County. Like, nobody thought to look at these bones. Sorry, the way I wrote this is weird, but they didn't even consider to look at these bones as possibly belonging to Georgia or Brooks. It just didn't occur to anybody because
when did they find these bones?
It's 1976. So It's two different counties. Even though they're fucking 10 miles apart.
And they went missing in 1972?
September 6, 1974.
Whoa.
So 74.
Okay, wait. So that's a huge time jump you just gave us then.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's 71, 72, 73, 74. So it's consecutively through the years.
Yes, but okay.
There were two that was like really close together.
There were two that were, 2 weeks apart in 1971.
And then there was one that was like a month after that. But see, those ones also have the different MOs. Because Colette was white, Brenda was black, Gloria was Gloria was strangled. Like, it's just different. They're just different.
They were all different. Not all of them, but a lot of them were different, like races.
Because
serial
killers typically have a type and, preferred method of killing.
Right. They either like racially have a type. I mean, yes, they're all young girls, but I feel like with Samuel Little, like they were all girls that were like down on their luck.
Right.
Right. They were all like, well, I guess some of these girls were hitchhiking, but they weren't.
But it's the 70s. Everybody's hitchhiking in the 70s.
Right, but they weren't hitchhiking being like, hey, how can I pay you? What kind of favor can I give you?
They just needed a ride.
Right. It wasn't like...
It's the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was targeting prostitutes, people that he wouldn't think when they went missing. That he thought he was doing the world a favor by getting rid of these who he thought were lowlifes.
Well, and his victimology was easy for him to keep doing because nobody was looking for them.
Yeah, or he thought nobody was looking for them, yeah.
Well, in most cases they weren't, right?
He had a lot of them, but some of them were identified.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
And some of them, remember, we had like stories
they were drug addicts, so we just thought they were gone, and
Yeah,
so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. People he thought that he was doing a favor.
Right.
Thinking you're doing...
Everybody
doing
is somebody to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
It's rare that somebody's not somebody to somebody.
Yeah, it's very rare.
Yeah. So as I was saying, nobody even considered that these bones might belong to Georgia and Brooks because it's two separate counties.
Towns 2 years later.
Towns are 10 miles apart. It's 2 years later, and it's still the 70s. So there's not all that APHIS. I think APHIS is the word I was looking for.
Oh, okay. I was going to say also... You would think that it would make sense though to try to look at those bones as being them if the families are still on the lookout anyway, because if they came up on the families' radars of bones being found that were matching this age group, right? because of the proximity and the conditions in which they would have been decomposed, right?
Right, exactly.
That 2 years, yeah, it makes sense that they were already skeletal.
But it might never have been like in the news or in
Right,
the
that they
paper or
found the
anything.
bones.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how when they find bones now at, shoot, why am I blanking on the
the
place?
cemetery?
No, not the cemetery, Cheeseman. At Cheeseman Park, they don't report it anymore on the news because people will go and try and steal the bones. Like, there's no reports anymore when they find bones.
Well, it was a cemetery, so.
Well, yes,
That's
but
what
now
I meant.
it's not.
But yeah, now it's a park now.
I'm like, no, cemetery's unspecific, though. I meant Cheeseman.
Cheeseman Park. In 1981, Brazoria County Deputy Matt Wingo was assigned the unidentified bones. He went back to the culvert and he found more remains as well as remnants of a gold sweater and plaid pants.
Aww.
The bones could then be tied to Georgia and Brooks, and their murder investigation could officially be started.
That's so fucking sad.
So sad. So the last one, Suzanne Susie Bowers, 12 years old, was last seen walking about a 3-mile route between her grandmother's house at the 4000 block of Avenue S and her home at the 3100 block of Avenue P at about 10:45 a.m. on May 21st, 1977.
That's my friend's birthday, except
So
for she wasn't born in 1977.
But that's far out from 73.
That's really far out from 73.
Or 74.
74, yes.
But there are tons of
But you
girls,
said that there's 34 bodies that have been found here.
and they're taken, like I said, you look at this chronological order of the Texas killing fields and all these women, when they go missing and when they're found.
When they were last seen, yeah.
These 11 that I could pick out of the 34 are the ones supposedly that are all tied together to this, but I'll get there.
Are any of them
I'll
are
get there
any
next
other
season.
ones tied together to each other?
I don't know, because I haven't looked. I totally just focused on this.
I told Mom when we were pausing to look up the gator thing, I was like, you should make this a series. I'm like, this would be really interesting.
If I can find enough to do that. I mean,
But you could always combine things.
I could.
Yeah.
Okay.
Combine what you can.
Make
And
a
who
combo
knows,
platter.
if you find a victim or something that has a solved killer, it could connect it to something much larger. Like, you don't know.
Right.
You could connect it to, who knows? I mean, I guess we do know that probably Ted Bundy didn't dump any bodies here because I don't think he was in Texas. But someone else could have, been tied back to them.
Well, there's definitely a lot going on here.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't understand how there's only 34 probably found bodies.
Mhm.
That's the thing, is there's probably way more than that out there.
Probably.
Just who's found, who didn't
Yeah,
get
'cause it's
totally
not-
taken over by the elements.
Well, and it's not like they're dragging the marshes or the bayous or the reservoirs where these bodies are found. They're just being found. And then they're like, oh, well, we found this person and this person was with another person. So we should look around here.
Right.
Or like, we found these bones. So we're going to look to see if we can find more bones. It's not like Lake Mead or whatever, like how when it got so low and then there were all those fucking bodies and cars and all kinds of just shit in there.
Yeah.
That they never, like, it's not like they ever, quote unquote, what do they call it? Drug the lake, like with the nets and looking for shit. And like they don't do that. They're not doing that. It's just like if you happen
they're
on
not looking through an aerial view. It was like somebody was fishing and they found a body. And then they're like, oh, we should probably examine the whole area to see if there's more evidence.
Right. If there's more evidence, if there's another body, but yeah, all that stuff. So anyway, so Susie Bowers, she was only 12 years old and she was traveling between her grandma's house and her house. It was in Galveston, so in Galveston proper, same as a lot of the other victims, but not all of the victims. The 7th grader was going home to get her swimsuit to go to the beach.
Okay.
So sad.
That's so sad.
Yeah. Her skeletal remains were not found until 2 years later on March 25th, 1979 in Altaloma, Texas, which is about 19 miles from Galveston, and her cause of death was undetermined.
So that's what I'm saying. Why, like, I just feel in my heart of hearts, like, we don't know if they're all connected.
I don't think so.
I mean,
really
obviously
don't think
there's a
so.
reason why they've grouped them together, but I'm waiting to hear it to buy into it.
Yeah.
Because right now I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either. And even when you hear why they're grouping them together, I still think it's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so I'm going to leave us here because...
Nice. You're going to leave us in a state of confusion.
Yeah.
Love it.
Exactly.
You're going to leave us in a 0.03 mile area of what the fuck just happened.
Right. These are quote unquote the 11 victims. that are supposedly from
Tied to the serial killer.
Yeah, it's tied to one person, but I don't really think so. But anyway, we're going to get to that. So in the next part, I'm going to get into the theories surrounding these 11 unsolved murders because the Texas killing fields are such a specific and relatively small area. The theory is that at least one, but probably more than one serial killer, but working independently of each other. So not like the pair serial killers, you know, like,
right.
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head. I can only think of like one name, like Bianchi and his person, his cousin.
Bianchi.
Kenneth Bianchi and his cousin, whoever he was, the Hillside Stranglers, not Texas, they were California. But anyway, and then like that weird guy, those two guys, the white creeper van that.
Oh, yeah. The Toolpack?
Maybe. I don't know. But there were two guys. Anyway, so let's just shut the fuck up.
We had that argument a few weeks ago, I think, and neither one of us actually knows what's going on still. Okay, sorry.
So anyway, of course, the theories are that there's got to be more than one serial killer, but not a pair, just independently working, that they've used this area as their preferred place to leave their victims.
They drop a body off at the same time. What are you doing here?
Right.
How did you find this place? How did you find this place?
How do you know about this place? Have you been here before?
Show me the body.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Are you a snitch?
Show me yours and I'll show you mine.
Exactly.
Aw, we should not be laughing.
So bad.
We're awful. That's terrible. That's why I
That's
even
so
changed
sad.
my whole verbiage here because, everybody calls it like a dumping ground. And it's like, that's just like implying that they're trash and they're not trash. And so that's why I phrased it as their preferred place to leave their victims because it's not a dumping ground. They're not trash.
Yeah.
So, but the serial killers, plural.
Serial killers, are trash.
Yeah. No. Well,
Yes.
yeah, they are trash.
I'm like,
but
no,
anyway,
wait a sec. You just said no.
Just trying to finish my thought here. They're just hoping, that the terrain, the topography, the climate, the gators, as you pointed out, and the fact that the area specifically is rural, even though the surrounding area is not rural, will leave the victims unfound or identified, or at the very least, there's no evidence left on the bodies tying them to the killer and or killers.
Right.
So that's what I think.
Okay.
Obviously that's kind of a wide thought. I'm not the only one who thinks that, but
right.
That's very much what I think. And I don't think these 11 are tied together.
Okay.
So
except for the ones that are.
Yeah, right. But no,
Except for the girls who've gone missing together and in pairs.
Right. But those pairs aren't even necessarily tied to other pairs,
Well, yes, but I'm saying the twosomes.
Well, yeah, obviously those are taken by the same person. So the next part, I'm just going to talk again about the 11 and the person who they think or who confessed to these 11
Not
killings.
self.
Not self, no.
Not self, who rotted in prison for the first 3 or 4, and then...
First two.
First 2?
First 2.
No, first 4, because the first... Yeah.
Rhonda Shaw and Sharon
but those
Johnson were the only
3
ones.
3 and 4. Those were victims
3 and 4. I thought you meant the 4 victims. No, only 2 victims. But yeah.
2 victims, but victims if we're talking 11, 3 and 4.
Yes, 3 and 4. They were the only ones that he was accused of killing, and then he died in 2000, never fucking being exonerated.
That's so sad.
That's so fucked up. And they also said that he was of below average intelligence. And so that's another reason that the police were able to be
picking on him.
That Morris guy sounds like an asshole, and the police were just fucking straight dicks.
Yeah, sounds like a dick face. Sounds like they're just trying to win the court of public opinion, even though they know that this guy isn't their guy.
Right. Well,
but they just need to pin it on somebody so they can take the heat off of themselves if the time when it came that they would look better. It's like, yeah, we robbed banks, but look, we put away a serial killer.
Right. Or even the fact that maybe they're never going to get caught robbing banks because nobody's ever even going to consider the fact that they're part of this group of people robbing banks because they're these decorated police officers who have put away this serial killer, who've solved this case.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's all fucked up. I hate it.
Super fucked.
I hate it.
All right. Was that all you got for me?
That is all I got for you.
Cool. I hate it.
Cool.
Well, you know what I mean, though. I'm like, not actually, but yes, actually.
And I said Rhonda Johnson and Sharon Shaw, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those were victims 3 and 4 out of the 11. That's why I was saying that. Because
I just want to make sure I put their names together, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just because it was a lot of information and I kept going back and forth. And then I'm just looking at all this stuff. And then I'm already looking at the next piece of it. And so it makes me just question all of the first
I'm going to need to have a buy-in. I'm going to need to understand why we're thinking that all of these 11 are connected. Because in my heart of hearts, like I said, I can't foresee why they would all be connected other than the fact that they're in a general area of Texas, right? And their ages.
Right. But their
MO is different.
A shitload of
their
other bodies that are in the same
different.
area.
Whether they're being bound or not bound is different.
Shot or bludgeoned or strangled.
Whether clothes are missing or found on them.
Yeah, it's all fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll tell you
a missing tooth removed, obviously.
No,
clearly.
it was because her skull was decomposed. And so
because it fell out because of the decomposition.
Yeah,
okay.
and maybe was carried off by something, or it's like a watery area because it was a reservoir.
Right.
So maybe it was carried there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if like her tooth knocked out when she was being bludgeoned to death.
Well, I guess there's that possibility. But yeah, so yeah, I'll tell you why that they're all tied together, but I still not convinced.
Okay, well, thank you.
Sure. And then if we want to continue with the Texas killing fields, we can. But I might need to take a hiatus from it.
Yeah, that's like the haunted Key West shit that I need to continue on. That, we've staggered it.
Yeah.
Like the United States of WTF, staggering.
But then on the other hand, maybe I should just get all through it.
Maybe. I don't know.
We'll see how this next part goes.
This is 11 of 34 victims, so that still leaves 23 victims that are known. 23 known.
23 known
bodies that have been found in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And who knows, by the time I research, there could be more. And because I was focusing on the 11.
Right, one of them could be connected to Samuel Little. Go listen to parts 1 through 3.
And the only reason that maybe I'm only seeing 34 right now is because I was specifically looking for the 11. So maybe it's just taking me through that time frame.
Maybe.
Even though it goes all the way up to 1981 when they finally start looking for these other killers. Not that they were found in 1981. They're found in the last one was found in 1979, though.
Of the 11.
Of the 11.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Susie.
But she went missing in 77.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
So fucking awful, too. Can you imagine? You're not a mom, but
I am. I have a son. His name is Bruno.
Okay. Well, I can't imagine that you would go missing and then I wouldn't know where you were for 2 fucking years. Our life would be in fucking shambles.
I know, it's horrible that I'm about ready to compare it to Groot, but like the 5 days Groot was missing was like the most stressful 5 days of my entire fucking life.
Yeah, that was
horrible.
It's not really a fair comparison because he's our dog, not our child, but we love him like he's our child.
We love him like he's family.
Yeah,
he is
our
family.
dogs are our family. But
right, it's an unfair comparison, but the closest thing I have to compare.
Yeah, I just can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. It just breaks my heart for those parents.
Yeah, it
and
sucks.
Siblings and, obviously also the victims. You're a little fucking kid and you get fucking snatched off the street.
Yeah.
It's fucking horrible.
It's so sad. Yeah, I mean, that's why, tomorrow's never guaranteed.
Nope.
Gotta make the most of today, but you don't know what also, nobody knows what tomorrow has around the bend. So that's why, they were just living their lives. Yeah. Going shopping with their friends for their boyfriend, leaving band practice,
going to get their swimsuit to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just doing their stuff.
Yeah. Just enjoying their lives.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fuck. Both was fuck at the same time. Going to the surf shop. Well, thanks.
Sure.
Thanks for Captain Bring Me Downness.
Sure. Sorry. It's really depressed me too, looking at this for all these days because the whole thing is really sad. They're kids. It's unsolved. It's just all very fucking sad.
Yeah. Well, you can find the map of the 11 girls on our Instagram if you want to go look at that. That's Disturbing Podcast. That's Disturbing Podcast. Sorry, can't words. And you can send us an email with the DM or a DM if you care to do so. If you want this to be a series going over the other 23 people as of what we know of now that have been found in the Texas killing fields. I think I just think it's interesting that this is, like you said, they called it a dumping grounds. It's obviously where bodies were placed after they were killed or where they killed these girls at and left them. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily a dumping ground because they're not garbage.
Right. I hate
these
that.
People are just garbage.
I read that in multiple places and it just it was cringeworthy reading because I'm like, you gotta fucking be kidding me. That is just the most callous, crude, crass thing you could say, is that these are dumping grounds. These are fucking people.
Yeah.
These are human beings.
Right. They're not.
Look at me. I'm tearing up.
They're not just discarded pieces of trash.
It breaks my heart.
Breaks me heart.
Breaks me heart. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not just pieces of trash that you can just get rid of and throw out the car window.
No.
Also, don't do that with literal trash, though, either.
No, don't either. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.